Hi, I'm Tilly, and this is Tilly Knits. I'm going to be trying to convince you that 1980s knitting patterns have made a comeback and will trend in 2025. So I'm pretty new to my knitting and crochet journey. I'm learning about myself, what I like, what patterns I gravitate towards. So when it came to planning my 2025 project plans, I may or may not have gone down a rabbit hole, specifically a 1980s rabbit hole. And I want to take you with me on that rabbit hole. I'm still quite new to the knitting and crochet community world, so if I miscredit or forget to credit someone, it is not on purpose, and I appreciate any help in the comments if I've forgotten anything. So shall we? So the first design that I found was for a cowl. I'm seeing a lot of these on my feeds. Slightly oversized, I think it's Mohair, and it's got a really bold colour, and I just think that's so now. I think if you're into vintage patterns and you're looking for something that feels a little bit more on trend, I think this is a really good one. It looks like it's not going to take long to knit up as well. So if you're new to vintage knitting like me, this might be a good place to start. And I'm a little bit talking to myself here because I think I might start with this one. And paired with the sweater, like in the same colours and had that grid effect, I think that's also quite modern in style. I really like that pairing. If I'm brave enough, maybe I'll do both. This really reminds me of some designs of animals that I've seen recently. A lot of people are doing frogs and fish, and I know it's not an animal, but mushrooms as well. Having like a single picture on a sweater vest or just a jumper, or even just a vest, like a vest top, I'm seeing a lot. And this snail is really cute. I really like this. Not just for kids either. I think this would make a really cute adult jumper. Bit wacky, I know, but if that's your style, I think this would be a really cool pattern to follow and try and grade into an adult's jumper. The next design that I found is a little less wacky. I think a lot more people will like this. I really like some of the designs that are almost see-through, that really take advantage of like underlayers. Some people just wear bras underneath these things, but I wear a lot of like mesh underlayers. Like I have like this zebra print mesh top that I wear under jumpers like this, so that like pokes out of the sleeves. I would really like to try and play around with an overlay, like a knitted overlayer that you can sort of see a patterned top underneath or a coloured top underneath, so that they work really well together. I really like this design. I think it could be easily modernised. I think it already has by a lot of designers, but this is just proof that there are some designs from way back when. I mean, I'm saying this because this shouldn't just be an 80s thing. I'm sure in the 60s, 50s, 40s and so on, there were similar patterns to the ones that I'm pointing out. I'm not saying that these were invented or designed for the first time in the 80s, but I'm focusing specifically on 80s patterns. But I'm sure this has been around for a while, and I think it's come back in a good way. I really like some of the modern designs of this, but if you like this pattern, it will be in the description. I like how this is kind of oversized too. Like it's a big baggy jumper, so it's really comfortable, but it's got a little bit of cheeky see-through. You know, a little bit of cheek, a little bit of something. This design I almost didn't believe was from the 80s. Not that the 80s was long ago, but it's so trendy, this design of the rounded daisy shape. You see it not just in knitting, but in crochet as well, with the daisy granny squares that are made into a bag, but also just these big daisy shapes that you see on garments. This feels so modern because of that, but I really like the bagginess of it, which gives it that 80s like vibe. So if you wanted to make this but lean into the fact that it's an 80s pattern, I really like the bagginess of it. I think if you designed it, people wouldn't know that it was a pattern older than a decade old. Proof that we may be, just without realising, going back to 80s style. You never know, maybe the padded shoulders and the geometric shapes and leg warmers might be back in 2025. You know, only time will tell. So here's another daisy design if you liked the jumper. This is a dress. It's a bodycon dress, which I think has not aged at all. I think this is really pretty, and it has the pastel palette as well. I mean, obviously you can pick any yarn, but I really like the blue and the daisy. I think that's really timeless, or so I'm learning. So this next one is a much smaller garment. I don't know what you call these, fake collars, or just a collar or a neck. I think I've seen Petite Knit make one of these, a lot of other designers too, but these I'm seeing everywhere. I've never understood them. They're not for me. I'd much rather be worn all over, but it was really cool that I found this in vintage knitting. I thought this was a new thing, but it's not, which is really cool. This next one you'll probably recognise if you use Pinterest, or if you've made it before. It's the Black Sheep jumper. This was actually designed in 1979, which I didn't know before doing research for this video. I thought this was a very modern design. Turns out not. Turns out Princess Diana wore this jumper. Here are some pictures of Princess Diana looking very lovely in this jumper. So this isn't a new thing at all. You probably know that. Maybe you don't, like me. I've always really liked this Black Sheep jumper. Now that I've started working in colour work, maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll give it a go with an original pattern from the 80s, or maybe I'll try something a little older. I really love 1940s patterns, and I found this. I know that it's a completely different animal, but I'm wondering if I can maybe mix the two and make a jumper with just a row at the top, like this 1940s pattern here. I really like the idea of doing the black sheep motif, where you just have one black sheep and they're all white, but it's one row at the top. I think that would be pretty cool. And I argue that the 1940s probably did it best. I'm actually attempting to knit a pattern from the 1940s. I will show you what I've done so far. This is a chevron jumper from the 1940s. If you watch Retro Claude, maybe you recognise the sleeve, but this is a pattern that I found that she did. I found it on Etsy. It's a really lovely pattern, but it is for 30 to 35 inch bust, maybe 35. I am not. I have a larger bust. I am closer to 40 inches. So I've had to do some grading, which takes maths, which I'm not very good at. But, you know, these colours, this beautiful chevron design, and the merino that I'm using is really soft, and it's just keeping me going. Just seeing each panel that I finish, slowly keeping me going. I've been doing this for months. Some months go by and I haven't touched it, but eventually it will be done. Maybe that's a big goal for 2025, is to get this finished. I'd like to do more 40s patterns. I really like this box sleeve, which you probably can't see here, but it's got this box where I've shaped it. I have pinned it, which is why I can't show you flat, but it means I can sort of show you it naturally falls into a boxy sleeve shape, which I'm really excited about. I've never done that before, so we'll see how that goes. I'd really like to try this 1940s pattern with the black sheep motif, because then it's a mix of modern patterns and the more vintage patterns that I really like, and I love combining those two worlds. Let's put this away before we have a bit of an accident with the needles. Oh, okay, so we're back. My battery just ran out, so I think that's a sign that I've been chatting too much and we should wrap it up with some final designs. Okay, I'm going to close this off with some maybe more wacky designs, things that I've seen that I like. Maybe you won't, maybe it's an acquired taste, maybe you really like them. I'm just going to throw them out there and see. I like them, so this is what I found. This one. I mean, I almost don't want to say anything about it. I just want to see if it speaks for itself. But I just love the sassiness. I love the confidence that you would need to wear this and make it for yourself and wear it. I'd imagine this is more of a gift knit. Something about the way that the models pose or were directed to pose in these 80s books, it just brings me a lot of joy. Another animal design. I'm a massive pig person. I love pigs, so I had to include this one for the pigs. How about trying your hand at some 3D knitting? I mean, I'd love for that to come back. I'd love 3D knitting to come back. Maybe if you've got an animal, you could do some 3D hair, little pom-poms, or a dinosaur on your shoulder. But why not, hey? Like, you never know. Trends come and go, and we can't predict what the trends will be in 2025 or 2026. I definitely can't. I'd like to think that 3D knitting is in there, because this is just cool. This is cool. Snakes and ladders. You could lay down and have people play it on you, like Twister. I mean, maybe not. I like this. I really like this. I wouldn't make it, but if someone gifted it to me, I'd wear it. I think I'd wear it. Another bit of 3D, but with a zebra. Okay, tassels. The use of tassels here, really, I like this. I like the placement of the tassels. I like that they're at the bottom. I like that they're not on the sleeves, or they're not making sense. They're just there. I'm gonna add more tassels to my work, I think. Maybe some tassels on the end of my mittens. Just, you know, my little cat toys. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so the egg jumper doesn't feel too wacky, but the chicken on the sleeve, chicken on both sleeves, chicken on the back, 3 chickens and an egg. I don't know if that's the design, but that's how I design it. Why is he holding a pineapple? He says banana on the jumper. What's with, like, whose idea was that? Like, you're in the studio and you're just picking up random props, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know where this is from. Maybe I like that it feels random, out of context, you know? So that's it. That's 1980s patterns that I found, whether it feels like it's retrending or it should come back, or it's just plain wacky. I have a love for 80s patterns, it seems. I'm learning through, that's part of my knitting journey. I'm learning that I really like 80s designs. Maybe 2025 is the year that I try making one. But what did you think? Did you like these 80s designs? Do you like the more wacky ones? Are you surprised that some of the trends have come back from vintage patterns and designs? If you liked this, please give it a like and subscribe. Maybe you'll be one of my first. Until next time, bye!